event-driven programming. Most modern computer programs that people use have graphical user interfaces GUIs. A GUI has icons on the computer screen and a mouse or other devices to control a pointer that can be used to operate the computer. For example, Word, PowerPoint, Information Path, Access, Excel, OneNote, Groove, Communicator. So here this is an example: sales objectives and implementation. It is a musical instruments executive sales summary. We must work a difficult or adapt our business to new technologies without losing our stronghold among professional musicians. So we will need to let our market sharp drop the bit slow growth the acoustic segments of the market, while we significantly increase our share in keyboards, speakers and other electronic equipment. We want to maintain continuity and tradition even while the industry sorts itself out with changes in the market and technology. There will always be a traditional segment and encore will always be there. Marketing strategy. Our strategy focuses on key opinion leaders to maintain our position in the traditional music sector while simultaneously developing a new technological that will protect our long-term position and may eventually lead us to new markets. This slide is an image of Microsoft Word 2007. It is an example of modern graphical user interface. Modern graphical user interface like the Word 2007 interface that require use of event-driven programming. An event occurs whenever an event listener detects an event trigger and responds by running a method called an event handler. So this is diagram. An event occurs whenever an event listener detects an event trigger and responds by running a method called the event handler. For example, hearing music, pressing mouse, etc. An event occurs whenever an event listener detects an event trigger and responds by running a method called event handler. Modern operating systems and programming languages contain facilities to let programmers set up event listeners. An event trigger can be almost any activity or condition selected by the programmer, such as a mouse movement, someone pressing the enter key, or a bank account balance changing. So these are all the event triggering. An event handler is a method that is activated when the event trigger occurs. Almost any method can serve as an event handler, such as those that play sounds, initiate data communications, or perform calculations. In allies, events can be used to control objects moving in 3D space, detect when some object moves, detect when two objects collide, make objects move in response to mouse or keyboard commands. So before discussing events in allies, let's talk about 3D space a little more. 3D space. A dimension is a way of measuring something. We create a dimension whenever we assign a value on a continuous scale to some property. Example, on a scale of 1 to 100, how much do you approve of George Bush's performance as a president? Measuring distance. If you wish to measure the location of a point on a straight line, then you only need one number. You could mark as a start point on the line and then measure how far a point is from the start point. By using negative and positive numbers, you could also indicate which direction the distance spans. So this is a straight line marked with the scale of measurement. In middle 0, right hand side positive 1, 2, 3, 4, left hand side -1, -2, -3, -4. Orientation. In addition to the concepts of distance and direction, we also have the concept of orientation. Orientation means the direction the object is facing. If an object is facing the positive direction on the line, its orientation is forward. If facing negative, then it is backward. Point of view. Location and orientation together are known as point of view of an object. So three people in a straight line where one dimensional point of view of each person. Coach. In middle, orientation backward. Boy on a bicycle. In left hand side, coach, location 3 orientation is a forward. In right hand side, allies, location 3 orientation is backward. Two ideas of direction. Absolute versus object relative. Absolute direction of a boy on bike I backward, but forward in relation to allies. From the coach point of view, allies is behind the boy while the coach is in front of the boy. Position in 2D. On a flat surface like a sheet of paper, you need two values to specify an object's positions, that is 2 dimensions. Rin Descartes developed a system of quantification for 2 dimensions. This is called Cartesian coordinates. Cartesian coordinates have an x-axis dimension and y-axis. The coordinates of a point are always specified as x, y. So this is a several points marks on a plane with Cartesian coordinates. Along with the x-axis and y-axis with the x and y value. In center, point 0, 0 is called the origin point of this diagram. So we are specifying the 4 kinds of values: 2, 1, 0, 2, minus 2, 0 and minus 2, 3. A third dimension, moving up and down of a flat plane requires a third axis or dimension. Instead of an ordered pair to represent position, we need an ordered triplet x, y, z. In allies, the y-axis provides a measurement of depth. 3D space is sometimes called Euclidean 3D space after the Greek mathematician Euclid. So this is a diagram that represents the 3D space events. Object versus object relative. For all objects, we must be aware of absolute position and direction. However, we are most commonly concerned with object relative position and direction. So see this diagram, object relative directions in 3-dimensional space and object relative positions in 3-dimensional space. So this in first diagram, up, left, backward, right, forward, down. So it's a 3.5a. In 3.5b, below, to the right of, to the left of, to the in front of, above, behind. More on object relativity. We must also frequently consider the movement of an object from the perspective of other objects.